Mali, just like most of the sub-Saharan states, faced colonization with heavy pressure from the French in particular. Everyone knows what a devastating period this must have been for the people. Rape, slavery, exploitation and humiliation, which is still shaping the current face of Mali, was completely unnecessary. Since the colonization by France, the country of France is playing a dirty game with Mali. Some were sold as slaves to whoever bet the most. Others were used in the army to fight and die for the country that would destroy Mali for coming generations. And now, in this very moment, France, together with the Netherlands, is on the forefront of racism in European parliaments, saying things to make Muslims feel unwelcomed in their countries. Even though the free labor is that which made France a rich and powerful nation in the first place, including Mali, as a 95% Islamic nation. Islamophobia? Mashallah, France. The Muslims should suffer from Francophobia if you consider that France has done nothing to Mali and other nations in the area but to use them and destroy them. This is what we call hypocrisy at its finest. In the year of 1892, Mali fell under French colonial rule. Well, I think we mentioned already the disgusting things that are happening during a colonization of a country. It doesn't seem to bother France too much. In 1960, the country became independent, first withdrawing itself from the French community with close ties to the socialist nations, followed by a military coup d'etat, uprising of students, a war with neighboring country Burkina Faso. Basically, it stayed unstable until today. In 2011, France, under NATO's direction, was the main supplier of weapons for the rebels in Libya, who were celebrated as freedom fighters. Shortly after the funding and military actions by America, Canada, the UK, and France that started in March, Muammar Gaddafi was killed in October, and all operations ended in the same month. Where did all the weapons go? Some of them popped up in Nigeria. Oh, and in the year 2012, a troop of heavily armed ISIS type of fighters took over the northern part of Mali, imposing Wahhabi Islam upon the area. Is it possible that these arms are the same that were spread in Libya? It is not far-fetched at all. Hence, the question is still posed, who funded these arms? With everything they have, it is still quite an expensive project to form troops of such dimensions. Maybe NGOs or foreign interests of other countries paid for them through third parties? Possible. On the order of the UN, after the request of the government of Mali, the French made a military intervention, only to withdraw later on without having any of the problems solved and leaving behind a big mess. Since then, the situation is just going downwards for the political stability of Mali. Coups, overthrown or resided leaders, again intervention from the French, namely a big disaster which involves too many details to be mentioned in this program. But one thing is for sure, that the Malian people are extremely frustrated with the French for very obvious reasons.
The new situation resulting from the end of Operation Barkhane, which presents Mali with a fait accompli and leaves it abandoned in mid-air, leads us to explore ways and means to better ensure security, either independently or with other partners.
Mali's relations with France took a significant turn when it went through 2 coups d'etats in less than a year. The first in 2020 saw Emmanuel Macron's ally Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta disposed, with the second, in May last year, a civilian-led transitional government pushed out. At the start of June, France suspended its joint security operations with Malian forces, and shortly after, Macron announced he would scale down French military presence in the Sahel.
As Issa C., a lecturer at the École Nationale Supérieure, explained, France's role is pointed out everywhere, at all levels. One wonders if France doesn't have another agenda. Everybody's wondering, But I'm not so naive as to believe that France would come and hunt down terrorists, pack up and go home. There's a bill to pay. A war is expensive. People say so. Me, I really haven't got my hands on the documents that say that, well, here's France's intention to exploit the minerals or this or that. But France is under suspicion. Everyone's talking about it.
In December, France and Western allies condemned Mali for deploying Russian mercenaries, saying it had struck a deal with the Wagner Group. The ECOWAS bloc hit Mali with heavy sanctions, a move supported by France, the EU and the US. Bamako accused extra-regional powers of being behind the sanctions and organised mass protests. With anti-French sentiment peaking and relations at a new low, the French foreign minister lashed out.
I'd like to say here with great force that this junta is illegitimate and is taking irresponsible measures.
His Malian counterpart responded in equal measure.
France is the only country which is directly attacking the legality and legitimacy of the transitional government.
Do you see these people? All of them are the problem. All of them together. They are your enemies, O people of Mali. The French were there, and things were bad. The French are gone, and things are still bad. What do you even have a leader for if it doesn't make a difference? Next to the governments, there are other forces in every religious country, and those are the religious scholars. Abu Dhar said, I was with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny one day, and I heard him saying, there's something I fear for my ummah more than the Dajjal. It was then that I became afraid, so I said, O Rasulullah, which thing is that? He, peace be upon him, and his progeny said, misguided and astray scholars. And that is according to your Prophet. And these are the same people who intended to put Jesus, peace be upon him, on the cross. There's many more narrations about the stray scholars, but keep this in mind. If Mali sees France as a Dajjal to their country, then according to your Prophet, these scholars are a worse threat to you than the foreign powers. Would you like to know how to find out who is a charlatan? Then go ahead and ask them.
Are you appointed by God?
They have no God behind them, no appointment, no nothing. Neither the governments nor the religious leaders.
If the answer is no, I'm not appointed by God, then thank you very much. I don't want to hear about it. Because you don't have the right to talk in the name of God. The only person who has the right to talk in the name of God and say that they're going to lead me towards God is the person who was appointed by God.
Since the time of God blowing from his spirit into Adam, peace be upon him, people are in a test to see if they are willing to support the Spirit of God in creation. When Shaitan said, I will not prostrate, he became the driving force for all the issues that are happening on planet Earth. Anyone that is putting his hope into anything or anyone else than the Spirit of God is supporting Shaitan's plan, because that is all he intends to do. He doesn't care if you pray, fast, or if you do any of the acts that are part of your religion, as long as you not pledge your allegiance to the Adam, peace be upon him, of this time. So the situation on earth is depending on that. All that can be prevented if only people would prioritize what their true nature is. No need for suspicions, no need for second guessing or mistrust. Let's shift our focus from everything else to lifting God's throne on planet Earth. No colonialism allowed on God's earth. Let us make a difference. It's a rocky and hard path that we are facing, but together we can, regardless of nationality or any other form of borders. And we have proven our system to work, which carries the slogan of humanity first.
Any of these big chains, these supermarkets, what takes place behind the scenes? They have, in the back area of their supermarket, they have this waste place. And the waste place is where they place not only all the products that are expired, but they also place in there all the products that are not expired, but just is not selling. And it literally gets hauled off to the trash, and they write it off as a loss, so that they are not held liable. And all the meanwhile, you have every single day 25,000 people that are dying of starvation. Yeah. And we have hundreds of millions of dollars. We have billions of dollars worth of food. For this is the opposite of the teachings of the prophets and the messengers. This is the opposite of humanity first. Yeah. This is the epitome of me first, my country first. And Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, his message proclaims the opposite. Mm-hmm. His message is that all the prophets and the messengers that came to tell us that what we should be doing instead of trading with one another is to our currency, which we should be actively pursuing, is to ensure that our brothers and our sisters in humanity have what it is that they need. Mm-hmm. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam says that a person, if he's not your brother in faith, then he is still at least your brother in humanity. 100%. Yeah. Okay? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that whenever you see a poor person, a person without, then know that somebody has taken more than his share. Sure. Yeah. And so the Prophet is trying to say that every single person that is born on this planet automatically has a right to receive from the planet everything that he needs to live a decent, fulfilled life. 100%. All of the resources around the planet belong to all the inhabitants of the planet. If you look into the Torah, you'll find, and in the Gospels, you'll find that Jesus and the rest of the prophets, they take note of this fact, and they tell their followers, do not worry about, why worry about tomorrow's sustenance? Do you not see that God does not even forget the ants, and he doesn't even forget the foxes, and he doesn't even forget the birds? Each and every one of them, God created them, and he took upon himself the responsibility to ensure that their sustenance is available on the planet. Yeah. So the same thing for sure goes for human beings, whom are a greater creation on the face of the planet. Yeah. And yet, you have 25,000 people that are dying. And the Prophet said that the reason why they're dying is because there's other people that stole their resources, and they're dying every single day because of thieves that are existing on the planet. So anybody who has more than their share, more than what they need to survive, these CEOs that have salaries worth 250 million a year, bonuses of 1 billion a year, salaries of I don't know what, trillion and zillions and all these crazy numbers, while there's people that are dying. These people are thieves. These people are should be held accountable for that, and that the system and the law legislation that allows for companies and individuals to operate at such a degree that itself is something wrong with humanity, and that's a great crime.